All right, holy shit, dude. This is some bullshit. Okay, you won't believe it. I'm gonna have to move this because this has got personal information on it. But so, oh, there it is. Fuck. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, I just saw it went past there. That was the big one. Oh man. Now, see, I'd been here for those 2 days. I'm trying to close that so no one gets on it. I'd been here for those 2 days. And you remember when I said, oh, well, oh, there he is. Fuck. Couldn't get something fast enough. God damn it. But that's what I meant. So, what was I saying? Remember I mentioned, oh, well, I just saw a small one. It's no big deal. Right. And I sat here all day. I didn't see a fucking other thing else. Right. Not a single other fucking one. Now, see what I'm going to do is lay this towel down here because I'm going to set my new computer shit on there because how long do I know it hadn't been crawling on that? I hope it showed up in the video, but you saw like I was going to, I don't know, that was a big one. I didn't want to squish it with my hand. But dude, I literally just woke up. And last night before I woke up or before I went to bed, I was like, all right, I'll go to bed for a few hours. I was like, let me I was going to say, well, you know what, good enough. I'll get a month. And I was trying to call somebody last night, but they kept saying they couldn't hear me. So it's like, I need to get my headset, but it's out in the car. It's like, fuck it. I need a few hours of sleep. And so I just woke up, get my clothes on. And while I was sitting here tying my do-rag, let me get my motherfucking headphones for their fucking in the ear cups or whatever. I saw it crawl right past there. And it's like, can you believe that? So the moment I'm like, all right, let's do this, that's when you're going to see the big one. It's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Oh, and that's after I bring in my shit. Like I'm going to... Fuck. And that's after I just said, oh, well, at least it's over there. It's not on the table or anything. That is such a... I wish it came back to where it was just then. Because, like, God damn it. Like, a big one. I don't want to smash that just with my bare hand. I don't want to have to wipe that nasty shit off. Oh, God. And, of course, if it goes under shit, But it's literally like, 2 hours before checkout. I waited so long because I was pretty much sure I was going to stay longer. That is so fucking... That's what I mean, right? When I experience shit, it's always meant... You're not supposed to pick up motherboards like this by the cooler, but there's no other choice right now. This is what I meant by everything that I experience is an insult, right? It's like right after I say, well, at least blah, 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 then it's going to give me that shit, right? Where was that before? Dude, I sat at this table basically this whole time, right? Where did that come from? It's one thing when I see a little one. It's one thing when it's over by the fucking, kitchen, if it's over by the sink, fuck it, right? You see a little one by the sink, all right, whatever. Even if you see like an average size one like that, all right, fine. But now it's like I'm seeing on the table. Dude, everything in this world is designed just to fuck with me, right? So here's my goal. I'm not going to be able to move all this shit out in time, in time for the checkout. I'm just not going to be able to. So I guess what I'm thinking about doing is I'm just going to go down and get one more night. That'll give me some time to tie up a few loose ends here and at least get a shower, wash my clothes, and get all this shit put up sometime later tonight before tomorrow's checkout. And then from there, I guess I'll maybe try one of the other ones, because the other one I was looking at, maybe I'll just go to that one and see it, because it costs less, but it's such a crapshoot, right? I mean, if people in Baltimore are spending $300 a night for cockroaches, I've been in these situations where, this is $127 a night, 130, it's around 130. But I've been places that they cost, fuck. Now you're on my motherfucking, son of a bitch. Yeah, it made me jump, right? I feel like, Animal Crossing, where like you come back to your house after too long and you see bugs going around and your character does that little jump. Partly because it puts me in a bad spot mentally. I mean, when I was in that place in St. Louis in 2019, it didn't bother me at the time, So this wasn't that kind of like response like that. It's a learned response, right? Like, I don't know how else to describe it, But yeah, that's some bullshit. And it was crawling on my fucking new power supply box too. Son of a bitch. Man. $400 brand new power supply, and the moment I take the wrapper off, who knows how long they've been doing that. But I just swear to God. See, but my point was, I've been places, you might spend $130, $150 a night and it's junk. But then you might be a place you spend, $60, $70 and it's impeccable. It's just such a toss up. You can never know ahead of time. Whatever. I'm gonna have to get another night. I don't have time. But I should have enough money left on my Chime account to where that one that was basically the cheapest I saw on their website, I think tonight I'll just pack up and tomorrow just drive over to it, get a night there, see what it's like. A night or two there, I think I should be able to afford that and then still have enough left over to get the 30 days discount or whatever, you know. And that's the problem. I got to look a bit more, but I don't think there's any Chime like places to like reload, your Chime account where I'm at. Here, it's just, I know for a fact in St. Louis they're all over the place, like Chime locations. And that's what's so annoying. It's like, dude, I mean, if I needed to, I could put all my motherfucking savings on that card, like loaded or whatever. But yeah, I don't get that. That's just such bullshit, right? I didn't see them. So I saw a little one, and then that rest of that whole time, I didn't see a fucking thing. Dude, I've sat at this table this whole time. The moment I put together $2,000 of computer parts, now that's going to be the point where who knows how long a fucking cockroach has been crawling all over and shitting on it and everything. It's another thing I meant, like I said, if I had somebody cooperating with me, if it took $200 a night, instead of $130 to get a decent place, we might be able to afford it. But that's just what I'm saying. While I'm going through this, my last ex is doing OnlyFans and sugar daddies paying him just to exist because he put on a wig and getting places to live for free. My first ex has been married basically since I last saw him in real life with all that shit he put me through in 2016, right? They don't do this. This is what I'm saying. They don't go through this. And that aggravates the hell out of me. That one I saw just there that I smushed, that better have been the one that crawled over on this side out. That's all I want to say. But I got no other choice. I'm just not going to have time to get my shit out of here. So whatever. All right, so I went ahead and got my third night. I just wouldn't be able to have time to get all this bullshit out to my car. Plus, well, anyway, of course, that's going to be stuck in that. Come on. Yeah, so because I was going to try to call the number, what I was going to do originally, it's like, all right, coast is clear. I'm going to get a month. But then I saw, like, literally, I was standing right here and tying my do-rag, and that's when I saw it, the big one. I was like, you son of a bitch. So that's 2, and when the second one's bigger than the first, that's, man. Now, my current plan is, so what I was going to do is I was going to call them when I was originally, before that happened, I was going to book a month. I'm like, all right, screw it. It's $2,800, whatever. And so I was going to call like their number, like for the main office. And I was going to ask them, look, if I book, this online, like I'm already staying here technically, but I came in on the nightly rate, but I want to get the month for the savings. But if I book this, will I get kept in the same room or will they move me? And that's the irony, is I wanted to keep this room because past that little one the other day, I hadn't seen nothing. Now the big one, I smushed it with a rag. It's over there on the underside of that fucking, or still on top of the tote, that rag. I just threw it. That tote, I can clean the lid off. I don't like mashing the big ones with my bare hand. But I guess it was kind of a good thing I decided. Well, what happened was I tried calling them. They kept saying they couldn't hear me, and I was like, oh. So I was going to go down there to get this and call them just to verify if that was possible. Keep in the same room. But I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go to bed for a bit. And when I woke up, I was literally about to go down there to get that headset. I could plug it in and they should be able to hear that. That's when I saw it. I was standing right here. And one thing I will say, though, is that the people I've interacted with that work here during the day have been easy to, nice isn't the right word. Let's say affable, right? It's like they're not just looking at me with a dirty look and being nasty or whatever. It's like they're at least talking to me like a person. So I will say that to their credit. It's just stuff like that. God, I hate that. But I had a similar experience when I was staying in St. Louis, where that place is disgusting. All right, those size ones were the norm. And what I hate about roaches is they fucking crawl on the underside of shit. So like this table here, for example, if I went to the store and got some food and I brought it back, I could just sit the bag there and you see them coming out from the underside. You know, um, and like that one there, it had a couch, and I can remember the like living room area. I remembered this. I've been there for like a couple weeks at that point, and and this is what it always does. I was like, well, that's the only place I've never seen them. And I literally, like, the moment I said that, I went and decided to lay down on the couch because I was exhausted. And the side of the couch that's like the back, like you rest your back against. What was on this side of my head because I was, the way I was laying. I saw something out of the corner of my eye and looked up. There was a fucking big ass roach right next to my head, and I went, whoa, and then I like ran away. But the woman that checked me in the place, she was all right, right? She was affable. She, took me to show me the room, and I didn't see nothing when I first walked in there. Other than the two security guard women they had walking around, I hadn't been in there for 2 hours. As soon as I got the room, I went straight out. Like, I actually got into bed naked. I almost never sleep naked. I was like, fuck it, I want to get these clothes off. And they wake me up. It was like, nobody told them that I'd paid for the room, I guess. But after that, I was awake, and within a couple hours of being awake from that, dude, they were starting to be all over the place. But other than those two, the actual employees were, they were nice. I'll just say nice. Affable is just too clumsy to say. And I remember one time it was actually kind of sad because I had to get my deposit back. I need that fucking $200 back, so I was keeping the place spotless. Not that much cleaner than I would keep it normally, right? But I wasn't. I'll put it this way. So they have some kind of thing where like they have to have like the room service come in to clean the place. And I remember that day I wasn't at work. So she wanted to come in while I was standing there, or while I was, staying in there. And so when she knocked, I opened the door. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here to clean the place." It's like, "All right, I'm here today. Is it all right if I just, kind of stayed here out of your way or just step outside or whatever?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And she goes in there and looks around a bit. And I remember she comes out of the bathroom, and she's like jumping for joy. She's got this huge like elated look on her face. She's like, "Oh, oh, you're just fine. You're just fine. You're perfect, right?" I was like, "You don't need to do anything." She's like, "Oh no, this place is, you're doing a good job." And I'm sitting there thinking, how fucking nasty are these motherfuckers around here, right? Like a place like that, if it's got roaches, you gotta be as fucking clean as possible because that'll really make them bad. But that's what it is, right? People paying $1,000 a month to stay in like a rundown place like that, um, but like they don't give a fuck. Like most of them are probably junkies. They're just looking for a place to. That's what I was saying. You're always hearing shit around there. Um, but it made me. It was like sad, like how happy she was that that the room was as clean as it was. Like, just in the context, it was like, it's like, damn, you know. But again, and this is just something I notice, okay? That's that one I was stayed at in St. Louis, black people working there. This place, black people working here. I don't ever like have problems, right? Like, they're nice to me. I talk to them, whatever. The guy that signed me in originally when I got here, I was telling him about how I was doing travel vlogs, and he actually looked up my original room number from when I was here in 2019 because I was like, if I could get the same place, that'd be really cool just for my videos. And he tried to, he looked, but unfortunately it was taken. But he actually got me a room close to it, right? Because I asked him if he could do that, right? And then after I got in here, after maybe like an hour, I got a call on the phone, like the room phone. He's like, "Yeah, is this blah blah blah?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, how are you? You like the room and all this stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, it looks great." That's the experience I have with that, right? When it's black people. But like that last place I stayed, where they made up bullshit to steal part of my fucking deposit and not give it back. Indians, right? Caucasians. I don't know what that is, right? It's like when I have problems with people or they want to give me a hard time, like it's going to be white people or just, like I said, Caucasians specifically. I don't know what that's about, you know. Not, I'm not saying I get along with, every black person impeccably. I'm just saying it's never to that level, right? Um, Even my last ex, who is basically, like just a copy of my first ex, but black instead of white. Even he wasn't really as bad. I mean, he's just as, if not more evil, and maybe part of that's because I got out of there quicker. But it's like I don't know. I've always noticed that, and that played into what I was talking about before. I'm not worried about being or ATL, St. Louis, whatever. It's like I don't. That doesn't bother me. You know. What bothers me is that's the thing, right? It's like you can have the nicest employees, and it's like the place is just, you know, grimy is not the right word. That's got like context of like people. I mean, well, if I say grimy, I mean grime and like physical grime, right? Like just like the place is just junk, right? But I don't know. But it's always something like that, right? It's like, do you want a room that's, I mean, not any like as far as cleanliness or whatever you want to call it, not any better than this, and employees that treat you like shit but no roaches, or do you want a nice experience, a pleasant experience with them, but then there's roaches, right? It's like there's no winning, right? You either get like it's always some form of biological terrorism, you know whether it's insect cockroaches or human cockroaches. It's always going to be something. Um, but it was a good thing that I had to go down there anyway, because when I went down there, the guy there was like, "Oh, could you move your car?" Because they're like working on the parking lot. I mean, yeah, that's sure. Yeah, sure, that's fine. And I don't know. Everything is so just outside my realm of comprehension at this point. Nothing makes sense. Probably never will. And it's one of those things. It's like I don't even want to really know, right? Or like I don't want it to make sense necessarily. I just want it to fucking just end. I just want the shit to stop, right? So like my exes who are true terrible people, they get places to live for free that don't have shit. Dude, my first ex, that's all we spent time in was these fucking junky, fucking cracked in fucking places, right? A huge fucking like those big black trash bags filled with garbage because they just throw it all in a trash bag and don't even take the fucking trash out. The place is disgusting. No roaches. All right. Now, people who have destroyed my life, like my exes, they can be truly terrible people and get a place to live for free. They don't even pay for it. That's total nastiness and but no bugs. But me, it's like I could go somewhere, pay 130 a night, or whether it's 2,000, 3,000 a month or whatever. Employees are nice, but I'm having to spend my money, but it's still bugs, right? And then that's on top of like my last ex. I know for a fact dudes just give him money. The last time we were together, he got a hotel and he fucking was messaging dudes asking, "Hey, could you send me, a couple $100?" And motherfuckers will do it for him. This world don't make no sense. It's like, why is it if I wanted that shit, people call me a bad person? Like I shouldn't want what everyone else is allowed to have, or like I shouldn't get the benefits in life as a good person that evil people get, even though they don't deserve anything, right? But this, trying to wrap this up, but this is the main reason. If I'm here, anybody here, like really, I'm looking for, either like a roommate or somebody that wants to travel with me, and we split, split the cost of gas, if we ever stay at a hotel, and just move around till we did find a good spot, and then try to like, you know, deal with surviving while we try to find, places of our own, right? Because even if we didn't end up finding a room for rent that's got like two different units they're renting, and so like now we both got a spot, but we could also still hang out. And it's like, oh, you find a spot and you go your own way. That still helped me, right, as well, right? So it's like for that period of time we were cooperating, it eased the burden on me to a large extent, you know. But I might do it, but that was kind of my point, I mean, I'm going to stay in ATL, but what I'm thinking of is now I'm just going to try going to that cheaper place tomorrow. That one that, it's like the cheapest one around. It's also closer to the Anytime Fitness that I would be going to because it's the only one that doesn't have some like time limit on parking, and I ain't risking getting my shit towed. So it'd be better to be over there anyway. Um, but that's the rub, right? 120 something, like almost $130 a night for this place, and then you're seeing, roaches. Whether it's one or two, it's more than zeros. Bad. But I could have gone over there and spent like $70 a night, and it could have been immaculate. Like there's never a way to know ahead of time. Um, and that's annoying. I'm trying to think. I might as well just roll until I remember what I was going to say. There's something else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, well, I'll just wrap it up because I don't remember. But I might put up with it to an extent because I have to. I remember before I moved in with my last ex, when I was only with him for like a week, like living together. Before I moved in, I asked him, "Does that place have roaches?" And then he said, "Do you think I would live somewhere with roaches?" And right there, he told it all. He put the inequality on full display. He has a choice, and more importantly, he's not exposed to that, right? But I might put up with it because I really can't. Don't have a choice. If I were, you know, roommating with somebody, just like being like travel buddies or whatever, and we were trying to figure all this shit out or whatever, I wouldn't expect them, right, to I wouldn't do like that bitch I stayed with in 2019 at her apartment, where she waited for me to pay her, move all my shit in, and then see roaches, and me go to her before saying, "Oh yeah, I forgot to say something about that." I wouldn't do that to somebody. I would be like, I mean, this place is, it's not the worst, but it ain't that great either, if they were willing, or I just wouldn't even waste my time in the first place, you know. But that's the thing. It's like you always give people better treatment than they give you. Now, oh yeah, that last thing I want to remember. So even after paying for the day, if I were going to stay here for a month, I could afford the 2,800. But after that, I'm basically out of money on the chime. Except you can load it cash, right? You can just like certain places. So I had installed the chime app again, so I could check my balance. And apparently, it says if you want to like load cash onto your account, you can take your card and the money into a Walgreens and do it that way, and it's like basically instant. There's a Walgreens like 2 feet from me, right? It's just apparently they weren't showing up on Google Maps, but on the actual app you can see them. It's like, okay, duly noted. Most of my money's in cash, but it's nice to know that if I'm staying in a hotel where I have to use a card, I got a way, right? Because that's actually sort of my like that card I just is basically for my chime account. I just got like my um tax refunds or whatever, and my stimulus checks to it. I haven't used it like, but before now it hadn't been used since I got my last. This is the first time I've ever actually bought anything with it, and I mean I've had it for like going on 4 years, but I do have another card. It's just I don't like giving the information for it out. This card, I mean, it's still my information, but it's also, I don't know. I prefer to keep certain things separate. So at least I still have an option, right? But my other card, it's like if I needed to, I could withdraw money off it and just put it onto the Chime one, you know. So that's good. That opens up some opportunities. So if I want to book a different hotel or I need to check in or whatever, I know I can manage it, right? As long as I can like go on Google Maps or the Chime app or whatever and just check the area to see if there's like a Walgreens nearby I could put cash in, right? So this video went long. I really don't give a fuck. For me right now, it's more about the fact that it takes so long to get it set up to upload, and more importantly, it's using up space on the phone. The way I have to do it, it just requires extra steps. It's never as easy as just uploading it. But at this point, fucking who cares? Whatever. All right, so I slept three or so hours. You know, I'm good for the rest of the day, and tonight I can finish figuring out what I'm doing with this computer shit, get everything sort of back together and maybe a bit more organized, put it out there. Uh, once these dudes are finished out front, you know. Well, I don't know if it would be like the asphalt or whatever would be dry enough for me to park where I was. I liked it there because I could just see it straight through the window. I still can. I just have to like go to the side and look. It's harder to see, but I can still see it. um, yeah, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm just playing it by ear. That's all I can ever really do. You can't. You can never plan anything when shit is just constant chaos and it's just everything's just infinite curveballs, right? Whatever.